You didn't have to study in elementary school, you breezed through high school. While other kids struggled with math or reading, you absorbed information like a sponge. Teachers told your parents you were a pleasure to have in class. Relatives called you a genius. Everyone predicted you would do great things, become a doctor, a scientist, change the world. But today, you are paralyzed by a simple email. You sit at your desk, overwhelmed by tasks that seem easy for everyone else. You feel a crushing sense of guilt, a heavy weight in your chest, because you know you have potential. But potential feels less like a gift and more like a debt you can never pay off. You aren't just tired, and contrary to what you scream at yourself at 3 a.m., you aren't lazy. You are suffering from gifted kid burnout. It is a specific psychological collapse that happens when a child who was praised for their innate ability grows into an adult who doesn't know how to struggle. To understand why you are stuck, we have to talk about the wall. Most children encounter the wall early in life. Maybe it's learning to tie their shoes or long division. They hit the wall, they fail, they cry, they try again, and they learn the most important skill in life: grit, the ability to persist through frustration. But you didn't hit the wall at 6 years old. You didn't hit it at 12. The curriculum was too easy for you. You coasted. You likely hit the wall for the first time in college, or perhaps in your first high-pressure job, and because you hit it so late at 20 or 25 years old, the impact was catastrophic. You hit the wall at 100 miles per hour without ever wearing a seatbelt. While average peers had years of practice dealing with failure, you had none. To you, struggle doesn't feel like learning. It feels like evidence that you are stupid. This is the core of the fixed mindset. You built your entire identity around being the smart one. So the moment you have to exert effort, your brain panics. It thinks, if I have to try hard, it means I'm not a genius anymore. So you stop trying, because if you don't try, you can't fail. You can keep the illusion of your potential alive as long as you never test it. This leads us to your most toxic habit, the procrastination cycle. People call you lazy. You call yourself lazy, but psychology says otherwise. For the former gifted child, procrastination is a defense mechanism. It's called self-handicapping. Let's say you have a project due in a week. If you start today, try your best and get a C. It destroys your ego. It proves you aren't special. But if you wait until the night before, rush through it in a panic and get a C, well, you can say, I only got a C because I didn't have enough time. You protect your intelligence by sabotaging your execution. Furthermore, you are likely addicted to the adrenaline. For years, you could write an essay the morning it was due and get an A. You learned that stress is your fuel. Now, as an adult, you physically cannot work without that gun to your head. You have conditioned your brain to only function in survival mode. But survival mode is not sustainable. That is why you are burned out. You are running a Ferrari engine on low-quality fuel, and the engine is starting to smoke. There is a deeper, darker layer to this, the imposter syndrome. Deep down, you are terrified that you are a fraud. You feel like you've tricked everyone into thinking you are intelligent. You remember how easy school was, and you assume the real world should be that easy, too. Since the real world is hard, you assume you simply aren't cut out for it. This isolation often started in childhood. Were you told you were mature for your age? That is often code for lonely. Gifted children often struggle to connect with peers. You wanted to discuss space, or history, or logic, while other kids wanted to play tag. You learned to mask. You learned to hide your intensity to fit in, or you withdrew completely into books and games. As an adult, this manifests as a deep sense of alienation. You crave deep connection, but you struggle with small talk. You feel like an observer of humanity rather than a participant. You are the watcher, analyzing social interactions rather than living them. Now, let's look at the biology. Why can you debate complex philosophy for hours, but you can't make yourself do the dishes? This is executive dysfunction. Your brain craves high-level stimulation. It wants to solve puzzles. Routine tasks, cleaning, paperwork, maintenance, offer zero dopamine. To your brain, they are physically painful. You are a high-performance computer that is overheating because it has too many tabs open. You aren't just thinking about the task. You are thinking about the best way to do the task, the implications of the task, and 10 other things unrelated to the task. You are paralyzed by over-optimization. You want to do it perfectly, so you end up doing nothing at all. So, is it hopeless? Are you destined to be a failed genius? No. But you need a paradigm shift. You are not broken. Your operating system is just incompatible with the standard user manual. That sensitivity, that ability to overthink, it is actually a superpower. It means you have high standards. It means you can see patterns others miss. It means you can learn faster than anyone else when you actually care. The problem isn't your capacity. The problem is your expectation that it should be effortless. To escape the burnout, you must do the one thing that terrifies you. You have to kill the gifted child. Stop identifying as smart. Start identifying as a learner. Give yourself permission to be bad at things. Give yourself permission to be a beginner. Do things poorly on purpose just to prove to your brain that the world won't end. Consistency beats intensity. A mediocre essay written today is better than a perfect essay that only exists in your head. You don't need to be a prodigy anymore. You just need to be a person. And ironically, once you stop trying to be a genius, that is when you will finally start creating your best work.